It's Thursday morning here on KSJE, and it's time to check in on the economy. That's what we do when Jason Calcote comes to visit us here in our visual radio studio from Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation. Jason, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Lots of stuff in the news, economically speaking, huh?
Yeah. We've got a couple things that are dominating headlines right now.
Right.
One of them is the U.S. company Boeing.
Right.
I think we've all
They're having a little bit of trouble with their planes.
They are keeping them in the air. Yeah, that new 737 MAX has been grounded worldwide now.
Right.
If you'll remember, they've had 2 crashes, I think, in the last 5 months from that model.
Exactly.
So pretty disconcerting, really. I mean, you think of the aviation, you hear the stats of the aviation. God, what am I trying to say?
Well, that's okay. The performance stats and things like that of these different aircraft,
how safe
right?
They are,
right. Safety ratings
the track
and things.
record of the flights, much safer to fly than drive.
True. That's still true.
But to see 2 crashes like this in such quick succession is really disconcerting, especially when this new model was kind of supposed to be the workhorse for the global airlines for the next few decades. This thing's only been in service since 2017.
Right.
So
lots of new features, lots of new efficiencies and things like that. So I think they're probably the investigators, as they look into what caused these planes to crash, are going to be checking all these different things, I suppose, too. Pilot training and all that, I would assume.
Yep, and that's, for the best case scenario for Boeing, it's a pilot issue. But if it's a hardware issue, that's really going to be a problem for them. And it's already showing. Their stock price on Thursday was at about $423 a share. It has since dropped to about $377 a share, so about 11% drop.
Okay.
In the last few days.
Right. Ouch.
Ouch is exactly right. So, the FAA, the U.S. was really slow to get on board on grounding the planes. First, China grounded some, a few other countries around the world, and then the FAA came out citing new evidence.
Right.
Stating that they were going to ground the planes as well. So
interesting. Okay.
We're really going to have to wait and see what happens there. It's not only going to affect Boeing either. We've got Southwest Airlines. They own
a lot of those, right?
Right. The biggest user of the 737 right now. I think they have 34 of them.
Okay.
So it's affecting their stock price too. They're down a little bit, about 4% in the last few days.
Right.
And then we've been doing well in the market, but the Dow, again, only 30 stocks.
Right.
Boeing is a big piece of the Dow.
Okay.
So you've seen the Dow kind of trail the other major indices in the U.S. Due to Boeing's performance and bad press lately.
That one stock, that big drop, or significant drop, I guess, impacts the whole Dow Jones average.
It does. Well, and more and more people are using mutual funds, and so they've got little pieces of these stocks in all of these mutual funds, really.
Right. Sure.
So performance across the board, it's definitely affecting it.
Interesting. We're showing a chart of the year-over-year Dow Jones Industrial Average today, and then if we look at the next market, so then if we look at the S&P, you can see that that's a little bit different on the upswing here more recently, as opposed to the Dow graph.
Right. So the Dow, we're up about 10% year to date, so about 10% for the quarter. The S&P is up 12%, and the NASDAQ, the tech-heavy stocks, up about 15%. So, they're all doing great, but it is trailing the other major indices a little bit. So we'll see. We'll really need to wait and see what happens with the investigations.
Sure. I imagine a lot of folks will be anxious to get some answers to find out just how big of a problem this is, or if it's not a big problem, get things back to normal.
Yep. Well, and it's disrupting, the whole aviation.
Sure. And
cycle.
Air travel too. If you're a passenger, good luck. If
Yep.
you're getting rebooked on a different aircraft. So we'll see what happens.
So we'll see what happens there.
I guess the other big story has to be Brexit, right? Even though you'd think it wouldn't affect us here in North America, but it's such a big messed up thing of how the European Union is dealing with the leaving of Great Britain.
That's exactly right. And globalization is here. We're so interconnected now that it does definitely have an effect on us. The UK lawmakers, they rejected the idea of leaving the EU without a Brexit deal.
Right.
So in any circumstances, really. So they kind of took the Prime Minister's directive and really hijacked it.
Sure.
And now there's not a whole lot of faith right now, obviously.
And did they not approve an extension either? So that still they have this end of March delay or
they're voting
deadline?
on that today.
Oh, okay.
They're voting on that today. So we'll see if that should be extended.
Because this deadline is looming. It's like March 29th or something.
March 29th. That's exactly right, at midnight. So right now, the default is no deal.
Right.
So overnight, Great Britain is all of a sudden annexed from the EU. They've been part of it for 46 years, and instead of this 21-month transition period, you've got an overnight exit, and it's done. So,
and that means no trade deal, no immigration deals, for traveling back and forth. All these things come into play. And the other issue there is is it Ireland? because part of Ireland stayed in the EU and Northern Ireland did not, and
Right.
so you have that border, and there really isn't a border. So what do you do with that?
Right, and a history of violence along that border.
Yeah.
I mean, you
So
know.
all this stuff.
Yes, so yeah, we're going to wait and see what the vote does there. But again, severely undermining the prime minister and could lead to some resignations. So we'll have to really look at this closely and hope that they can get something done.
And of course, Great Britain has a pretty decent economy. They're no slouch, right? So
That's exactly
if
right.
something happens to their imports and exports, that does affect the greater global markets.
Definitely something to really watch closely. I mean, it's been a mess from the get-go.
It has been a mess. That's true.
Yeah, we need to get something concrete before this date comes. So.
Right. So that's in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
We'll see what happens.
Yep,
But they've been kicking the can down the road for a
Yeah,
long time.
and they may just do it again.
Yeah.
Until they get it cleaned up and.
We'll see. And on the other side, I think the European Union's just like, come on, send us something that we can deal with or talk about or approve a deal, something.
That's exactly right.
So.
They're waiting for them to act.
Okay, interesting. Anything else?
Oh,
oil and gas?
Yeah, oil and gas.
How we doing?
You know, oil, we're at 58, 53 a barrel. So we're up about 22% year to date.
Okay.
So doing well there. Natural gas, you know, we're just really hanging out in the zone that we tend to hang out in. We had the spike at the end of the fourth quarter last year. But
Right, we did. But
we're right back down into the, you know, I think we're about 283 right now. So yeah, hanging around $3. But
Okay.
and then gold's hanging steady at about 1,300.
Okay.
ounce, so.
I suppose with that natural gas number, since it's not very volatile, that can be helpful for businesses trying to plan and know if that's where it's going to be, that's where it's going to be, and you can make decisions based on that number.
Definitely.
And not wait for it to go up or down like maybe we've seen some other commodities.
Well, we've seen, you know, the oil has been a wild ride, especially
That's
the end
true.
of last year. So,
Right.
yeah, natural gas, a little bit of a spike again, but yeah, we're right back in the comfort zone.
It is what
So,
it is.
Yeah, we would like to see it a little higher in
Right.
this area, but
That's true. Okay. Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens,
Yep,
right? So
we'll see
we'll
what
check
happens.
back with you in a couple weeks.
okay, sounds good.
Jason, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
That is Jason Calcote from Citizens Trust and Investment Corporation. He is here with us every Thursday to talk about the economy right here on KSJE Farmington.